Hello, my name is Scott, and welcome to the Scotty Travels channel. Today I wanted to talk about the Working Holiday Visa 462, which is what I'm on currently, and what's allowing me to stay in Australia. And I want to talk about how to apply, things that you're going to need to know, and questions that I had when I was going through the process that I really couldn't find answers for. So, number one is going to be how to apply. It's pretty easy, to be honest. You just go onto the Australian government website, and there will be basically you can just Google apply for 462 visa. Now, who is the 462 going to apply to, and why is it different than the 417 visa, which are both working holiday visas? 417 only applies to people from the UK, Scotland, Ireland, like those countries. And the 417 doesn't have a minimum education requirement like the 462 does. That's the biggest difference. Is like, one, it depends on which country. There's like a long list of countries for the 462, but the 462 also requires education. So we'll get more into things that you need to apply, like requirements for applying later. But yeah, that's the main difference between the 462 and the 417 is being from America, basically, and the education requirement. So let's get into the things that you're going to need to apply for this 462 visa. You're going to need a valid passport. Obviously, you're traveling internationally. That's something that you would need no matter what. So yeah, you're going to need a passport. And then something that's kind of odd is you're going to need a recent passport sized photo. Basically what I did is I went to CVS. I got a new passport size photo. So like, you might be thinking, oh, I already have a passport photo on my passport. No, you need like the most recent, like go into a CVS today, take a photo, send in that photo. You're going to also need evidence of funds, meaning I think the minimum requirement is 5,000 Australian dollars to be able to enter the country. Basically, they just want to make sure that you're not going to live off of the government or need assistance while you're here. You're able to sustain yourself while you're still looking for work as part of the working holiday visa. You're also going to need health and character requirements. Basically, you're going to meet those requirements. Basically, it means you're going to have to, if you've been to a country that is affected by tuberculosis over the last like 6 months or something like that, you'll have to get a health test. That can be kind of tricky. If you're from the US, there's only a few doctors, and like there's like one on each coast or something. It's very hard to get that checkup. You can't just go to any doctor. So that is kind of a hoop you have to jump through. But if you haven't been to a country that's affected by tuberculosis, there is a list online, and they will tell you if you apply to that and you need to go get a test done. More than likely, you're not going to need to get that test, but something that you should be aware of. And then also the character requirements. You cannot come in on the 462 visa if you have any sort of criminal record. So I'm not sure if maybe they make exceptions depending on like if it's been, dismissed or whatever. But generally, like if you've been convicted of a serious crime and or served, I think, more than 12 months in jail, can't come. Straight to jail. So you're also going to need to meet the English language requirements. Now, this doesn't really apply to my American friends. More than likely, if you're watching this, you're an American looking to live in Australia. The English requirement is more for countries that English isn't the first language. Like I think Turkey's on this visa. I think Afghanistan. I don't know. There's a lot of other countries other than the U.S. that this visa applies to, and those countries, if you're basically not from a native English speaking country, you have to pass a test that proves that you know how to speak English. Also, like I said earlier, the biggest difference between this visa and the 417 is the education requirement. Now, I was worried. I thought it was you needed a 4-year degree. That's not the case. It says secondary education. Secondary school here basically means high school. So if you're a U.S. citizen, you have a clean record, a passport, and a high school diploma, and we'll get onto the later requirements, but this visa is, you're good on this visa. You do have to prove your education requirement. You have to meet that requirement, meaning like I had to send in a picture of my high school diploma. So something to be aware of, you would need to find like your transcripts and or your diploma or something like that to prove your education. Age requirement. This is the one of the biggest things that sucks if you've missed this window. You have to be between 18 and 30. I think you can apply at 30, and you can still extend it, something we'll get into later. But you cannot be, like, if you're the day you turn 31 and older, can't apply. This visa is really just meant for younger people to come and experience Australia and be able to work while they're holidaying, so that way they can like supplement their income here and be able to, do a little more holidaying. Yeah, so you have to be between the ages of 18 and 30, and the last couple requirements are no kids. You cannot have dependent children. Now, I don't know if that means like if you're a bad parent and you want to leave your kids in America and come here for a year, that's on you. I don't know if you can come or not. Like, I don't know if you're like, hey, I'm not the one taking care of my kids, I'm gonna come. It's kind of a scumbag thing to do, but yeah, no kids. And then the last one is no previous entry on this visa or the 417. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. You can't have entered Australia on this visa. You can extend this visa, but you cannot apply for it twice, like the first one, I guess is the way to put it. Okay, and then on to questions that I had going through this process that I couldn't really find answers for. The number one is going to be, this one's kind of silly that I actually had to ask somebody who lives here, is what is a given name and what is a family name? It's basically first, middle, and then last name. So like your given name would be like your first and your middle, and then your family name would be your last name. Something that's just different here. They write the date differently. So like little things like that can tripped me up a little bit. So something I'd like to explain. It's like a little bit the first part of the application. And then the other one is how to send in documents. So I was confused about how you needed to send in the documents. I thought that you had to like scan everything. So like I went to UPS and scanned my passport and scanned my passport photo, but then the passport photo was like here's the thing, and then the passport photo was like this. When what they want is like literally like an up close of that photo. I was able to send everything in just off of a picture from my phone. I took a picture of my passport. I took a picture of the my passport photo, like the recent one I had just taken that day, and then I sent in a picture of my diploma. The only things that I sent, I didn't even scan those either. The other things I sent were the proof of funds. That'll be the other thing the other document you need to send in. That I took no, that's true. That's not true. I took a screenshot of my current balance, and I also sent in a PDF file of my bank statement. So I would send in the bank statement. The issue I was having was like I had currently the amount of money that I had the amount of money in the bank statement that I needed. It's about 3,500 US. Just FYI. I had that in the bank statement, but I wanted to make sure, because there's like and you might have seen this, it might be why you clicked on this video, is there's a clause in the, like when it says requirements, proof of funds, there's a part that says that you need to have 5,000 Australian and enough money to buy a plane ticket home, which there is no like there's no like, this is the amount you need to be able to buy a plane ticket home. So I didn't know if it was like exactly 3,500 was what was going to get me in, or if I needed like 4,000 or some number. So I sent in a current statement where I had more money, or I sent in a screenshot where I had more money, and then I sent in the bank statement where I had basically a little bit over the minimum of what I needed. Either way, it worked. So I had no issues. I was able to get my visa, and I'm very, very grateful, because there are people who wait for months and months and months. I got my visa instantly. I sent it in, and I immediately got an email, and my visa got granted. I think I was lucky that I applied when I did, because I found out later that the best time to apply, I think because here, and I think the fiscal year starts in July here. Things are a little bit different because of the seasons being off. Like summertime is in America is wintertime here, and vice versa. So I believe the beginning of July is like the beginning of the fiscal year, like on paper. And I applied at the beginning of July. So I think that I don't know if they were accepting like literally everybody. Obviously, I'm sure there's people that get denied for whatever reason, but because I had everything in order and I applied when I did, there wasn't like a backlog. I was so nervous. I was so scared when I was applying because I had a ticket already purchased in September and I needed to get that visa, but I had seen horror stories on Reddit of people who were waiting like 6 months and they haven't heard anything. Now, granted, I think on the website it says 90% of people get processed in 45 days. So, more than likely you'll get processed in a timely manner. I would not suggest doing what I did. I would for sure apply for the visa, wait till you get it, and then buy the plane ticket. Once you have that visa, you have 12 months to enter the country, and then you have 12 months from the day that you enter the country until your visa expires. Now, that being said, you can extend the visa 2 more times. So you can, in total, stay in Australia on a 462 working holiday visa for a total of 3 years. To meet the requirements to be able to stay for the second visa, you need 88 days of working in Australia to apply for that second visa. Now, that's going to be construction, mining, farming. There's like tourism in Northern Territory, stuff like that. That's all going to apply to the second year. Now, for the third year, you're going to need 120 days of you're going to need 120 days worked. So where the first one you need 88, the second one you're going to need 120. Same thing, it has to be things like mining, it has to be construction. It basically has to be jobs that are, I don't want to say like lesser, but like jobs that in America we would hire immigrants for. It's similar. And as long as you meet that requirement and as long as you haven't like caused any trouble, then you'll basically get approved for that second and third. And while you're waiting for the second and third to get approved, you can stay on a bridge visa, which basically means like, hey, we're processing your visa. You can stay until we finish processing it. So hopefully that answers any questions you have about the 462 working holiday visa. I know this is kind of a long one, and I've been just talking, and the dog really wants me to throw the ball. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope I answered your questions. And if you have any more questions, then please shoot them down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in probably a vlog. Okay, bye.